We know that there was a Jewish settlement here. In the ancient times, we found remains of a synagogue further down over there. And here, definitely a quarry. Look around you. You're sitting within the quarried rocks from which they used to quarry mostly sarcophagus. You see the shape of those coffins that were cut off from this main bedrock right here in this place. Actually, in as much as I feel sorry for you having this kind of wind and cold temperatures, I'm glad you get to experience that, simply because that's exactly what I believe the disciples had experienced then. When, look, we just came from the northern area of the Sea of Galilee. Now you can hardly see it. The clouds are approaching so fast when the wind blows from the west and brings all those clouds. And then, of course, you have the afternoon regular sharqiyya, we call it in Arabic. Sharq in Arabic is east. Sharqiyya is the eastern winds that are traditionally in the afternoon. In fact, in the history books, even in the Jewish Talmud, it says, if you happen to cross the lake and you got to be on the other side in the afternoon, don't even think about coming back. Just stay there the night, because you're risking your life. The winds are so strong. Can you imagine an afternoon when there is a storm approaching from the west and the regular eastern winds are taking place? The collision in this basin of those two winds alone can create, listen to me, it can create a 6 to 8 foot high waves. Now that's just a tiny lake. You can imagine what these kind of waves look like in the middle of a small lake like that. And even the most experienced fishermen, native to the area, will be helpless in a situation like that. I know that Pastor Bill and even myself, I believe Jesus went up to be here and pray when he saw the storm, and he, of course, approached the disciples there. From here you have a commanding view of the entire Sea of Galilee. You cannot have that kind of view from any other point around. And if I may say, most of the events on the Sea of Galilee with the disciples and Jesus, I would say 2/3 of the gospel basically, took place on this side of the lake down below us, which was the inhabited area, the Jewish inhabited area of that time. Just for you to know that the Galilee itself was a very important portion of land during the Old Testament, where we have 4 major tribes that inhabited here. We have Zebulun, we have Naphtali on the mountains there, we have Gad down below, and Manasseh on the Golan Heights. And all these 4 tribes disappeared, of course, or were exiled by the Assyrians in the 8th century. And of course, for almost 600, 700 years, the Galilee was empty from Jews and was filled with Gentiles. That's why the prophet Isaiah called it the Galilee of the Gentiles. And it was not until the 1st century BC when Jews finally made it back to the Galilee, once the country was controlled by the Hasmoneans. This is a Jewish family that revolted against the Greek regime and managed to throw the Greeks out of here and to establish an independent kingdom here of Jewish kings, which is pretty amazing after a long time of no Jewish kings in the area. But sure enough, those Jewish kings not only wanted to be kings, but also the post of the high priest. And over that conflict of can a king be the high priest or can a high priest be also the king, it was evident to the Jewish population that it is not going to work. And it is the Jews who invited the Romans to enter into the land in 68 BC with Pompey.